Alright guys, I wanted to make a video real quick. This is my new project. It's a 1971 Plymouth Duster. I actually picked I say new project, I picked this up a year ago, but it's kind of been waiting in line for its turn to be worked on. I did the Bronco project and the 78 D100 project that fell in front of this one. Anyway, this one is a Utah car. It spent its life in Utah. In saying that, it did spend the last 20 years in a field, and you will see the repercussion of that. So let's kind of start here at the front. The wheels are a 14-inch wheel. I think it's got like a 195 70 series on there right now. It's a drum brake. There's these funky 5x4 bolt pattern they did for a few years, so they're super limited on options. It does have quite a bit of rust. The rocker there's completely rusted out. This is the result of sitting in the field. The quarters are just trashed. I think it's got the matching sized rear tires. Now the interesting thing is, this has an 8 3/4 rear end, so which is the one that's often put behind the big block cars. This is just trashed. I did take the gas tank out because it had completely rotted and had a bunch of pinholes in it. Beyond that, we'll kind of get to it when we get to it. The glass, as you can see, is all good. I love this back section of the Duster. Notice there's not any seams from the quarters. Anyway, we get to the trunk here. Also fairly well rusted. You can see some light coming through there. The new, it doesn't have a lock either, but it does have a tow package. The new gas tank that will be coming in is one I'm just going to order brand new. Runs a single exhaust, you may or may not be able to see. It's not been registered since 1990. So this is the Duster Twister package, as you can see the marking there. This side is the same thing with the quarter panels, completely shot. They're cheap to replace, it's not a huge deal. Also, these decals you can get for next to nothing. It's a super cool car. I really love this car. This has gotten munched a little bit. This fender is going to have to be replaced. The hood being the Twister, this was actually a flat blacked hood. Now it's kind of a rusted hood. Also, the grill is seen better days. And that front bumper's also got damaged in, as well as the hood, where looks like they took that front end hit. So that's where we're at exterior wise. The glass has some cracks in the windshield. The rest of the glass is really good. So on to the heart of the beast. I wish I could say it was a 340, but it is not. It is a completely unmolested 318 though. So you can see all the spark plugs have been removed. I filled all of the cylinders with a mixture of diesel fuel and transmission fluid before I even tried moving anything around. I let that sit for a couple days. Went in. You can see the belt has been pulled off, so I could crank the motor over, and there's no sticking, nothing. It feels really good. The brakes on this, like I said, they're all 4 drum, and they work absolutely 0%. I can see that master cylinder is just puking out the back too, so that'll all get replaced. If you can, this thing is just as factory can be. Nobody's really done much of anything with it. But again, it's sat for a long time, nearly 20 years, estimating off of the registration. So let's move on to the interior. I wish I could say that it was a lot better, but also it is not. The door panels on these are flat, and it's really easy to replace anything. You can see it's got some tears here, but the rest of it's painted, so that can all be cleaned up really easily. The dash, sorry for the sunlight glare, the dash is completely hammered. Again, that's an easy replacement. There's the magic though. The Hurst floor shifter. It's only a 3-speed. I wish I was a 4, but the 3-speed will be awesome for this little thing. This weighs next to nothing. It's a bench seat up front, and it's been covered. It all needs to be redone. The back seat is more of the same, just sun rot. I have a couple of parts there. In fact, those are the locks for the door and the trunk. It's all a matching set. The package tray is pretty well hammered, as well as the headliner. But back to the wheels. These are the, sorry for the camera work here, these are the original Rally wheels with the caps on them. So those will look really, really cool once they're all prettied up. All the glass is good. It's kind of grotty, but it's good. It's got a tape deck, and the mileage shows 50,849. Who knows how many times that's rolled, but the motor feels tight, so this is going to be a really fun project. Give you the kind of the whole view there. What I'm going to start with is a carburetor rebuild. The ignition system is going to be replaced, get rid of the points. I'll take this radiator off, just have it dipped and painted. All the hoses, all the rubber lines will be replaced, and I'll put a new fuel pump, new fuel tank, and all the lines. The master cylinder, all the wheel cylinders will be replaced, all new spring kits, the new shoes. We'll see if we can save the drums. Who knows? We'll give it a shot. Needs a new starter motor, and just kind of all of the regular stuff that would go out. Oil change, the rear end differential fluid will be replaced, transmission fluid. All that is going to be done in my 2-car garage that's partially taken up by a 4-wheeler. I have some tools. I don't have the greatest collection. I'd love to have more, but I've done lots of cars, and my limited space. Also, it should be noted that I am not a professional. I'm not employed in this field, and I never have been. This is just my passion for hot rods and cars. The greatest teacher for working on these is YouTube. I've done everything off of YouTube. I've been in hot rods a lot longer than that, but as far as learning to do all this stuff, YouTube is awesome. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments or any ideas that you think might be fun with this car. As far as right now, it's going to go back to stock. In saying that, in 1971, this car made 230 horsepower, which is interesting because my 1978 Duster that had the same D100 that had this exact same motor was rated, I think, 180 or 190. So, and to kind of give you an idea what that means, 230 horsepower, I think the 90s roller 5.0 motors from the Mustangs were like 220, 225, so it'll have enough to move itself down the road. Also, this weighs a couple 100 pounds less than those cars did, believe it or not. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned, because I'm going to do everything step by step. We're going to get this thing running and doing burnouts before the end of the winter time. So stay tuned, guys. Subscribe. It'll be awesome.